You know, turning 70 isn't the end of the road, it's the beginning of a whole new chapter. But here's the truth. Not everything that made sense when we were younger fits the life we have now. Today, I'm sharing 12 things that simply don't make sense for women like us after 70. And trust me, the last one might completely change the way you see yourself. For years, we were told that beauty equals youth. The beauty industry sells us endless creams, surgeries, and dyes, always making us feel like we need to fix ourselves. But at 70, beauty isn't about looking younger. It's about looking alive. It's in the way your eyes light up when you see your grandchildren, the joy in your smile when you hear a joke you've heard 100 times. Those laugh lines? They're not flaws, they're a map of a life well lived. And let's be practical. Why spend hundreds of dollars on treatments that only promise to make us look less old when we could invest that money in experiences, hobbies, and things that truly make us happy? From this point forward, beauty isn't something you chase. It's something you carry inside you. Let go of the pressure, embrace who you are, and show up as yourself, unapologetically. Something I've learned over the years is this: the more stuff you have, the more stress you carry. Every drawer, every closet crammed with unused items isn't just physical clutter. It's mental clutter, too. Why do we hold on to things we don't need? Old clothes we think we might fit into again, gifts we feel guilty giving away, piles of outdated magazines collecting dust. But here's the truth. All that clutter weighs you down. Now is the time to flip the script. Instead of seeing decluttering as losing things, see it as making space. Space for movement in your home, peace in your mind, and meaningful moments in your life. Start small. One room, even just one drawer. Ask yourself, does this bring me joy? Does it serve a purpose? If the answer is no, thank it for its time and let it go. You'll be amazed at how light and free you feel when your surroundings reflect simplicity and peace. And let's talk about energy. How many times have we jumped into a disagreement that had nothing to do with us? Maybe to protect someone, stand up for our kids, or keep the peace in the family. That might have made sense when we were younger, but after 70, it's time to let some battles go. Imagine this. Your grown children are arguing over something trivial, like who should host the next holiday gathering. Your instinct might be to step in and mediate, but at what cost? Often, trying to help only drains our emotional energy and puts us in the middle of conflicts that aren't even ours to solve. The same goes for old feuds with friends or neighbors. How much of your precious time has been wasted on grudges that, in the grand scheme of things, don't really matter? Instead of trying to fix every problem, remember this: not every battle is yours to fight. Sometimes the most powerful move is to step back and let others figure things out for themselves. You've earned the right to prioritize your happiness and well-being over unnecessary stress. And speaking of priorities, let's talk about saying yes to everything. Women like us are natural caretakers. We feel a responsibility to show up, make others feel special, and keep connections alive. But after 70, we have to ask ourselves, at what cost? When I turned 70, my calendar was busier than ever. Grandkids' birthday parties, community events, hosting friends, volunteering. I thought being busy meant being vibrant. But instead I felt drained, overwhelmed, and stretched too thin. I barely had a moment to breathe, let alone enjoy the life I was so busy living. Then one day, I missed something important. A quiet Sunday morning that I used to spend journaling, sipping tea, and simply being present. Instead, I was at a fundraising event I didn't even care about. And that's when it hit me. My time isn't infinite. Not every commitment deserves a spot on my schedule. These days, I ask myself two simple questions before saying yes to anything. Will this truly make me happy? Do I actually have the energy for this? If the answer is no, I give myself permission to say no, without guilt. And you know what? Life feels better. If the answer is no, I politely decline. And you know what? Most people understand. They've been there too. Now, my calendar reflects joy, not obligation, and I find myself savoring life instead of rushing through it. Perfection. It's chased us throughout our lives. From the early years of keeping spotless homes and serving flawless meals to the endless worry about how we look, what others think, and whether we're enough. But let's get honest for a moment. Who does perfection really serve? I remember one Thanksgiving years ago. I was hosting, and everything had to be just so. I spent days scrubbing every corner of the house, ironing tablecloths, and trying an elaborate new recipe I found in a magazine. By the time the big day arrived, I was too exhausted to enjoy it. And for what? Not one person noticed the tiny centerpiece I spent hours crafting, or that the dessert plates matched the napkins. But they did notice one thing: my absence. I was so busy perfecting everything that I missed the laughter, the joy on my grandchildren's faces, the stories being shared. That day taught me a hard lesson. Perfection comes at a cost, and it's rarely worth paying. Now, I embrace imperfection wholeheartedly. If my cake sags a little in the middle, it still tastes the same. If my living room has a bit of dust when guests arrive, it doesn't stop us from having great conversation. What people value most isn't how perfect everything looks. It's your presence, your warmth, your authenticity. So let's let go of perfection. We've earned the right to be unapologetically real. I'll be the first to admit it. Taking care of our health can feel like a full-time job. The doctor's appointments, the dietary changes, the exercise routines, it can all seem overwhelming. But if there's one thing I've learned, it's this: nothing is more inconvenient than losing your health. I had a wake-up call a few years back. It started with small things, a stiff shoulder here, a bit of knee pain there. I told myself, oh, it's just aging. It's normal. But those small issues turned into big problems when I ignored them. One day, I found myself struggling to climb the stairs without wincing. A visit to the doctor revealed that early intervention could have spared me years of discomfort. And it's not just about injuries or chronic pain. It's about the small, everyday habits that add up. For years, I reached for pre-packaged meals because I didn't feel like cooking. They were quick, easy, convenient. But when I started feeling sluggish and drained, I took a closer look at my diet. Turns out all that convenience was costing me more than just time. It was costing me my vitality. Now, I take my health seriously. I prep simple, nutritious meals on Sundays so I'm not tempted by quick fixes during the week. I stretch every morning, even if it's just for 10 minutes. And yes, I keep up with doctor visits, even for the little things. These small, consistent changes have given me more energy and mobility than I had at 60. Let me tell you, there is nothing more empowering than feeling in control of your own body, even as the years add up. I wish someone had told me earlier in life, not every relationship is meant to last forever. For decades, we've been conditioned to endure toxic friendships, unbalanced family dynamics, or one-sided partnerships simply because we've invested time or because it's the right thing to do. But after 70, maintaining toxic relationships makes no sense. I had a friend, let's call her Linda. We had known each other for over 30 years, but Linda had a knack for negativity. Whenever we met, she'd spend hours complaining, belittling others, and finding fault in everything. I'd leave our conversations feeling drained, exhausted, and honestly, worse than before. And yet, I kept the friendship alive because I felt guilty about letting it go. Then one day I had a realization. Time is no longer a resource I can take for granted. Every moment matters. Why was I spending mine with someone who left me feeling empty instead of fulfilled? I made the difficult decision to step away from that friendship. Was it hard? Yes. Did I feel relief afterward? Absolutely. Now I invest my energy into people who uplift me, those who bring joy, share kindness, and leave me feeling lighter. Life is far too precious to waste on negativity. Walking away isn't selfish, it's self-care. There's a myth floating around that after 70, our lives are set in stone, that there's no room for new interests, new adventures, or new beginnings. But let me tell you, nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, this stage of life is the perfect time to try things we never had the chance to before. When I was raising my kids and working, my life revolved around schedules, responsibilities, and taking care of everyone else. There wasn't much time left for me, but after 70, I decided to shake things up. I signed up for a new class, I tried a new hobby, and I gave myself permission to explore new interests without guilt. And do you know what happened? I felt alive again. I signed up for a painting class, not because I thought I'd be good at it, but because it sounded fun. And you know what? I wasn't great at first, but it didn't matter. For the first time in years, I felt like a beginner again, and there was something so freeing about that. Since then, I've taken up gardening, started journaling daily, and even joined a local choir. Every new interest brings with it a sense of excitement and purpose. You're never too old to learn something new or rediscover something you once loved. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise. You deserve to fill your days with things that ignite your curiosity and spark joy in your soul. I'll admit it. I used to feel intimidated by technology. Phones, tablets, smart TVs, it all felt overwhelming. I'd tell myself, "Oh, that's not for me," or "I don't need to learn all that." But here's the thing. Avoiding technology in today's world doesn't make sense, especially after 70. My granddaughter was the one who changed my perspective. She showed me how to use a tablet, and suddenly a whole new world opened up. I learned how to video call my family, explore recipes online, and even join virtual classes. I discovered online communities of people my age, sharing stories, advice, and experiences. And let me tell you, watching gardening tips on YouTube and even learning a bit of Spanish has been an absolute blast. Technology isn't something to fear. It's a tool to enhance our lives. It keeps us connected, informed, and engaged with the world around us. So if you're hesitant about learning, remember this. You don't have to master everything at once. Start small. Ask a tech-savvy friend or family member for help. The world is moving forward, and staying connected to it can bring incredible joy and opportunity, no matter your age. There comes a point in life when you realize that no matter what you do, someone will always have an opinion about it. And guess what? That's okay. But spending your precious time and energy worrying about what others think? That makes no sense after 70. When I was younger, I'd fret over everything. What to wear to a neighbor's barbecue, whether my gift for a friend was good enough, if my life choices were being judged. As women, we're conditioned to seek approval from everyone, our families, our communities, even strangers. But let me tell you something that's freeing. None of it really matters. I remember once hesitating to wear a bright floral dress to a formal event because I thought, maybe it's too much. My daughter looked at me and said, "Mom, who cares? If it makes you happy, wear it." And you know what? I did. And not only did I receive compliments all night, but, more importantly, I felt good in my own skin. So here's my advice. Live your life for you. Dance even if people are watching. Speak your truth even if it's unpopular. Wear what makes you feel fabulous, no matter what anyone thinks. By 70, you've earned the right to prioritize your happiness over someone else's opinion. Money is a tricky subject at any age, But after 70, avoiding financial planning is one of the worst mistakes we can make. Whether you have a lot or a little, knowing where your money is going and having a plan makes life so much easier and so much less stressful. I've seen friends run into trouble because they avoided looking at their finances, thinking everything would just work out. But the truth is, life is unpredictable. Medical expenses, housing needs, or even helping out family members can strain a budget if you're not prepared. On the flip side, I've also seen people live so frugally out of fear that they never enjoyed the money they spent a lifetime saving. For me, the best thing I did was sit down with a financial advisor. We talked about everything: my expenses, my savings, and even what I wanted to leave behind for my family. It wasn't as intimidating as I thought, and now I have peace of mind knowing I can enjoy life without worrying about running out of money. Whether it's budgeting, planning for long-term care, or just treating yourself occasionally, having a clear picture of your financial health is empowering, and it's never too late to start. Here's the truth about aging. It's not something to fear, it's something to embrace. Every wrinkle, every gray hair, every year that passes is proof that you've lived, loved, and experienced life. Yet so many women let the fear of aging hold them back. I know this fear all too well. For years, I worried about looking older. I tried creams, hid my age, and avoided conversations about how many candles were on my birthday cake. But then one day, I looked in the mirror and thought, what am I so afraid of? I realized that every line on my face tells a story of laughter, of tears, of lessons learned, and love shared. Now, instead of focusing on what aging takes away, I celebrate what it brings: wisdom, perspective, and a deeper appreciation for the little things. I don't worry about being the oldest one in the room. I focus on being the most present, the one soaking up every moment. Aging isn't about losing who you were. It's about becoming who you were always meant to be. So let's stop letting fear dictate how we live and instead embrace this chapter with open arms, curiosity, and a bold sense of adventure. Thank you for spending this time with me today. If any of these 12 insights resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Your feedback means the world to me. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you never miss another conversation like this. And one more thing, I'd love for you to join my Savvy Senior newsletter, where I share even more tips, stories, and advice tailored just for women like us. You'll find the link in the description. Click it, sign up, and let's stay connected. Take care, and remember, life after 70 is a time to thrive, not just survive. Until next time, goodbye for now.